Hello everyone, my name is Scott Western and welcome to my web-based creation. This semester, in my Foundations of Special Education course, I've had to observe students with intellectual disabilities and other students with special needs in a general education setting. These settings are known as inclusion classes. For this, I have been doing my observations on Long Island in Suffolk County at Amityville Memorial High School, located in the village of Amityville. Specifically, for my inclusion classroom observation, I have been observing Mr. Havorka's 12th grade U.S. History class. Within this class, there is a total of 20 students. Of these 20 students, there are 3 students with learning disabilities. The environment and setup of Mr. Havorka's class is similar to the other social studies classes I have observed without any students with special needs, as illustrated in this picture. However, in Mr. Havorka's U.S. History Inclusion class, he has chosen to place the 3 students with special needs on the left side of the classroom, as you can see in this illustration. Additionally, the 3 inclusion students alternate between the 3 desks. When I asked Mr. Havorka why he chose this setup, he told me that putting them on the left side near his desk would allow the students to better hear him during instruction. This setup also gives the special ed instructor the ability to accommodate the inclusion students without getting in the way of the other students. So far, during my observations of Mr. Havorka's inclusion class, the differentiated instruction I have seen revolves around the co-teaching method, where the special education instructor helps Mr. Havorka accommodate the students with special needs during his lessons. Specifically, the most common co-teaching method I've observed is the one teach, one support method, as illustrated here. Mr. Havorka mentioned to me that he thinks this method is ideal for his inclusion class because it works great with the small number of inclusion students that he currently has. With this model, the special ed instructor does a good job of accommodating the students and keeping them from falling behind during Mr. Havorka's lessons. A specific lesson that put the one teach, one assist method to use came a few weeks ago when Mr. Havorka instructed a lesson on the muckrakers during the Progressive Era in United States history. In this lesson, Mr. Havorka and the class read aloud 2 journalistic pieces by a few famous muckrakers during the Progressive Era. The first was an excerpt from The Jungle, written by Upton Sinclair, while the second was written by the famous muckraker Ida Tarbell. I noticed as Mr. Havorka read aloud, his speech was clear and slowly paced, which he later told me is done so that the students with special needs could follow along with him. After going over each excerpt, Mr. Havorka then gave the class about 10 minutes to go over each excerpt's corresponding questions. While the students were answering these questions, the students with special needs were assisted by the special education instructor whenever necessary. Afterwards, the class as a whole discussed the answers. Another co-teaching lesson in Mr. Havorka's class came just a few weeks ago and utilized the parallel teaching approach. In this approach, the class was split into equal halves, with Mr. Havorka and the special education instructor each taking their set of students to discuss the Harlem Renaissance. Each teacher and the smaller set of students then went over a primary source written by Langston Hughes and then answered a set of questions as a group. The smaller group work not only gave the teacher time to assist the students with special needs, but the group members also supported the students as well. In regards to the behavioral supports I've witnessed in Mr. Havorka's class for the students with special needs, the main one I've witnessed is teacher withedness. Since the special education instructor constantly monitors and assists the students with special needs, the instructor is constantly aware of what they are doing at all times. On the rare occasion the special education instructor is out of the room, sitting the students with special needs close to Mr. Hovorka's desk allows him to keep an eye on what they're doing. Mr. Hovorka told me this is actually another reason why he situated them close to his desk. Secondly, Mr. Hovorka's class does not seem to have too much downtime in between aspects of his lessons. This momentum approach keeps the students occupied throughout the lesson and minimizes potential behaviors. To summarize, after observing Mr. Hovorka's inclusion classroom with students with special needs, it is important to offer differentiated instruction to help address each student's learning needs. Methods, such as co-teaching, have helped Mr. Hovorka address these needs. It's equally important to implement behavioral supports in your classroom and for the students with special needs. This helps make sure the instructional methods you use run efficiently.